Hi everyone and welcome to Club 5 episode 16 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, things are going really very well. We currently find ourselves up in 4th position in the Premier League. Fixture list has been challenging in the last half dozen games, but we've coped pretty well with it. I'll show you that in a second. Today, we play 6th placed Aston Villa. The landscape of the Premier League has changed quite a lot over the years. This is going to be a tricky game. Can we surprise another one? Let's find out. Welcome back to Watford. So we are in November of 2030 and the landscape of the Premier League, as I said in the intro, has changed quite a bit. If we go straight to the league table, we're sitting in 4th position, but the interesting things are the likes of Tottenham down in 16th, Liverpool in 13th, the likes of West Ham, Everton, Newcastle, all out of that top 6. Chelsea in 8th position as well. So Villa in 7th, Leeds in 6th, Leicester in 5th and us in 4th, all behind Arsenal and the 2 Manchester clubs who seem to be head and shoulders above everybody else just at the moment. Those 3 teams, when I've played them, they're more difficult to play, definitely. Everybody else, though, is kind of fair game a little bit at the moment, which is pretty spectacular. We're doing far better than I thought we would. 11 games played, 6 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, 21 points on the board. Not bad at all. If we go to our schedule, you'll see, since you and I were together last for this Leeds United fixture where we won 3-0 quite comfortably in the end, we followed that up with a good win against Leicester, who are one of those teams in the top 5 of the Premier League. So, you know, that's a good result for us. And we then came up against Man City, who, again, are one of those teams that are just better than everybody else at the moment, still in the Premier League. And they absolutely took us to the cleaners, really. 3-1, didn't really ever get in the game ourselves properly. Bounced back, though, with a good 2-1 win over Derby. And then the big problem of the last little set of fixtures, we went out in the Cup to Hull City. I rotated the 11, tried to get everybody some game time. And on that particular day, it just didn't work. We got a 1-0 defeat. It was very disappointing. But this is the sign that things are changing in the Premier League a little bit and that we are improving in the Premier League a little bit. We've played Liverpool and Tottenham, those 2 teams that are down in the bottom half of the table, and we beat Liverpool 1-0 and we drew against Tottenham 0-0. Not too bad at all. I think we're looking pretty good this season. I wanted a top half finish if I could get one. I think we're on for that at the moment. I don't expect us to finish in 4th. Let me tell you that at this point. I expect us to finish somewhere in the top 10, but anywhere in that top 10 is an improvement. And at the moment, things are going very nicely. Villa on the horizon today, away from home, which makes it more tricky, of course. But they're sitting down, not in 6th, as I said in the intro, I think. They're sitting down in 7th. Time for us to see if we can take another scalp. Let's see what happens. So, partly because we were able to rotate the team recently in the cup competition, everybody's doing pretty well. The only player that's got a little bit of a knock is Hulse, who is our rotating option for this right midfield role. I put him on the bench just because even though he's got limited match sharpness, he's fit enough if he needed to come on for 15 minutes. Say we got an injury to Omer here, then potentially he could still play a little bit for us. So he's on the bench for that. But I won't use him unless I absolutely have to. Everybody else is doing pretty good, though. You can see that we've got a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of average ratings for the games that people have played. And especially on that right-hand side, we are struggling a little bit. But ultimately, it's not so important if we're getting the results that we're looking for. And at the moment, we're getting the results that we're looking for, and some, really. It's been pretty spectacular so far this season from where we've come over the last season and a half. For us to be sitting in 4th position after this amount of games in the league, I will happily take it. Whatever happens from this point onwards, we're doing all right at the moment. So, for today's match, In the Premier League, against Aston Villa, we go with Bursic in goal, Mendes at right back, Rodrigo and Omobamidele in that central defensive area, Mitchell at left wing back, Lucelio, Mosquera and Vieira in central midfield, Omar on the right, Felipe George on the left and Scala up top with a whole bunch of people on the bench, 9 people on the bench, ready to make an impact should we need them to. So, Villa, here we go. Let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, as we're playing a little bit of a tricky team away from home, we haven't gone overly big in the gesture. We've just put the hands together and said, I want to still be impressed today. Go and put on a performance. Go and see what we can achieve out here. And we'll see what happens with that. I mean, you know, we're on very, very good form for us. It has been a little bit patchy. That Hull City game was a little bit disappointing, to say the very least, in the Cup. I would have liked to continue in the Cup run if possible, but we've still got the FA Cup to come later in the season. But for now, we focus in on the league. We win the ball back very nicely on that right-hand side from a Villa attack and keep the ball very well at the back to find some space and get out and see if we can work a chance for ourselves. That's a good, long, searching ball for George down the left-hand side. He scrapes one into Scarlett. Scarlett is an absolute superstar for us so far. That's about 9 in 10 games, if that counts for us. And it doesn't, unfortunately, but he's still a superstar for us. He's putting the ball in the back of the net very regularly. It's very good. He just strayed a little bit, which is a little bit unfortunate because other than that, the build-up play was exceptional down originally on the right-hand side and cutting the ball across to the left and then getting that ball through. But yeah, he's currently, if that's the case, he's got about 8 in 9 so far this season as Dane Scarlett, and he's doing really very well. Supported very nicely from a few other players, but he is an absolute superstar for us. Villa get a very easy goal. Very easy goal, and I'm disappointed by the defending of it. If you watch in the actual area itself, how he goes and finds that extra space, he just drifts off the defender. The goalkeeper gets caught in no man's land as well as the ball gets crossed in over the top of him, and they head it home for 1-0. Disappointing. We started brightly, but since then, haven't really achieved too much really in terms of attempts at goal. And we've let them in at least once and now twice. And we're a little bit fortunate there, really. A bit of a wayward shot. But so far, you can see we haven't put a single shot on goal, which is really disappointing. So we're going into the shouts to fire them up, see if we can do anything about that. Change into an attacking mentality rather than the positive. Just for the last 15 minutes of the first half, see if we can find any way to get ourselves into this game. Because so far, other than that initial shot, it's been all Villa, and they've deserved that. Half an hour in, they caused chaos in our box from a corner kick. It just ricochets all over the place. We try and clear it, and we don't really do it particularly well. And it ricochets around. They regain control of it, drop it to the top of the penalty box. He's got a little bit of time to get the ball out of his feet. And he smashes the ball home. And the goalkeeper, again, doesn't really have a chance to do much about it on that occasion. Oh, we're going to have to change something at half-time here. We've got 10 minutes to go through till half-time. Might have to change the shape in this particular game, potentially, because so far they've absolutely ruled the roost. And it's one of those games, isn't it, really, where I think, again, we are definitely punching above our weight in terms of where we find ourselves in the league. And I think at the moment, Villa are a very good team that are working their way up the league, having had a little bit of a slow start, and they're doing it at our expense at the moment, it feels like. Let's see if we can finally get ourselves on the ball a little bit and create another chance for ourselves. We've had to go... I thought we were going back to go forward, but we weren't. They nicked the ball from us, and they went towards our goal instead. We managed to survive it just about. But again, it's not happy viewing at the moment from a Watford perspective. Just the one shot at goal, and it wasn't on target to their 15. Yeah, we're going to have to read them the riot act at half-time and then change a couple of bits and pieces. So let's go into the dressing room. We are absolutely going to read them the riot act. I won't throw the water bottle. We're away from home against a good side. But I will thrash the arms. What was that? Get your acts together. And then we're going to go into the tactics. We're just going to switch it up a little bit. And we're going to go into the 4-2-3-1. So we're just going to move slightly around. And see if we can just get a certain, a little bit more security in our play. So we're just going to switch a couple of these roles. We'll make him a ball winner down there. I think everything else should be okay, I think. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. And I think we will go back to balanced and see if we can just get hold of the ball a little bit. So if we go into possession... yeah, I think that's roughly what I want. Yeah, okay, so there's nothing I really desperately need to change there at this point. But yeah, so far, not played well at all. So let's see if we can just reshape it slightly, go in, demand more from them, see if we can get hold of the ball a little bit at the start of this second half. Well, there's a shot at goal at least. Wasn't on target again, but we've had a second shot at goal, which is something, I guess. 2-0 down after the first half. Can we at least come back in and make it difficult for them? They're playing in a 4-3-3, so maybe the 4-2-3-1 just pushes them slightly further back, specifically in their midfield area, a little bit in the wide areas. So hopefully we can do something with that, but we're not, are we? If we pause the game, it's flown by. They've had a couple of shots in this second half. We've had one at the very beginning of it. So we've now had 2 shots in 78 minutes of play, and neither of them are on target. This is not the form that I've been seeing since you and I were together last. We've done brilliantly well, but it feels like this is one game too far for this group of players at the moment on the run that we were at. Liverpool, we got a 1-0 win or whatever it was, really good win for us. We then drew 0-0 against Tottenham, which was a hard-fought draw. This one... feels like Villa are a little bit better than both of those sides potentially at the moment, and they've absolutely done us here. So let's get out and make some substitutions and see if we can get some fresh legs in. Look at this. Our right side of midfield is causing us a problem this time around. I bought a couple in because if you remember last season, we weren't playing a right-hand side midfielder. We were playing more of a narrow formation. So I bought 2 in to play this new structure. They're not the best players, to be honest. If we go and have a look at Omer, you can see that he's okay, but his physicals let him down quite a little bit. He's got some other good ratings around his attributes, but ultimately those physicals kind of do let him down. And at 31, he's not going to improve there, is he? So it's a little bit unfortunate that he's having such a bad day. What we're actually going to do is we're going to put our other left-sided player in, who can play both, and see if we can get something out of him. Fernandez from the left-hand side, who covers George down that left-hand side. We're going to put him in instead, and then we're going to switch him in to the inside forward on attack, I think. And we'll do that, I think, on this fast left-hand side as well. We'll switch him from an inverted winger to the inside forward. See if we can support Scarlett a little bit better than we have been. Other than that, it's about fitness more than anything, and obviously poor ratings. And today, the poor ratings have come from Scarlett, who of course I built him up. I told you how spectacular he was, so of course he's not going to do anything today. So Arkine, the youngster, who has been struggling a little bit recently for form, to be honest, started brightly this season, got a couple of goals, and then has really dipped off since then. But he gets another opportunity. And we've got one more that we can make. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to take... I'm going to have to take George off. We've brought our left-sided player on already. But what I've also got is this guy, Milicio, who is a striker come wide man come attacking midfielder. Can play quite a lot of different roles. We're going to play him out on this left-hand side. Doesn't look a natural there. He's more of a central player. But he can cut in and get in and around and still have a strike at goal. So hopefully we can do something there. And we're going to have to improve it from the balanced, aren't we? Up to the attacking again. and just see what happens. I don't expect anything from the last 10 minutes of this game, if I'm honest. It feels like this game is just one of those days where we haven't shown up at all, haven't been able to get a foothold on the game in any way, shape or form. Arkine wins us the ball, though. Really good position. And then we lose it, unfortunately, again. And Villa have just been all over us. Again, we win it back. On this occasion, Fernandes down this right-hand side tries to cross the ball in rather than cut in himself. Doesn't quite work out for us, but at least we're putting a little bit of pressure on, and we've won the ball back again. Tyrick Mitchell down the left-hand side into the box. Arkine with a really good goal for him. Get the confidence up. It gets us back in the game a little bit and just narrows that gap that has been a huge chasm of a gap between the two teams for this particular match so far. And just asks a few questions of Villa. Have they got the mettle to see the game out? So let's go into the shouts and fire them up for the last 5 minutes or so, having got back in the game. Is there one more chance maybe? Can we nick anything? We can't. It's going to just absolutely just fly by again. We had one moment of inspiration in the middle of it all. We actually had 2 shots on target after we brought the changes on. So that's not too bad. It wasn't a great day at the office, though, was it really? We end up going down 2-1. I think we were a little bit unlucky that first goal was given, rightly given offside. But if it had been onside, we would have been off to the races in the first minute. Didn't quite work out for us. And then for about 85 minutes, Villa were just absolutely dominant in every way, shape or form, until Arkine came on at the end and just nabbed a little bit of a consolation goal. Disappointing performance overall. That kind of happens sometimes, doesn't it? So after that slightly unfortunate... well, no, let's start that again, actually. It wasn't unfortunate. We got absolutely dumped on by Villa. That's very simple. They've done okay. They've moved up to 5th position from 7th. We've stayed in 4th for now. I mean, the Vultures are circling. The likes of Leeds and Newcastle sitting behind us in the league. If they win their game in hand that they've currently got, that brings them into this conversation around the 20-21 point mark. There's a lot of clubs still in this kind of area at the moment. We're going to have to do something pretty spectacular to stay within it for the next couple of months, I would imagine. Otherwise, we're going to get cut adrift if we play like we did against Villa today. The 2 Manchester clubs, Man City just got beat, actually, by Everton, which is a really good result for mid-table Everton just at this point. So that keeps them in this pack. And it means that Man United are just beginning to pull away at the top of the table just a little bit. They've got an 8-point gap over City, which is pretty spectacular at this point in the season. So, yeah, there's lots still to do this season. We've got a long way to go. At the moment, we've got to be happy with where we are. Even though today's performance wasn't particularly good, we've got to take it, really. But... if you think that anywhere from Everton upwards in the next 3 games could potentially overtake us very comfortably and we could be down at mid-table again, you can see we've got a lot of work to do. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. It was a really interesting trip to Aston Villa. They absolutely decimated us, really. It was a very poor performance for 80 minutes of that game from us, unfortunately. But what we're coming back for next? Well, we're coming back for the end of the calendar year game. I always play that one because then I drop off for the month of January and go and do the transfer window and then come back in February for the next episode. So always play that last one. And it happens to be Man City on this occasion. Will we still be in with a chance to stay in and around the top 4 or 5 in the Premier League at that point? We'll see. Between now and then, we've got West Ham, Brighton, Man United sitting top of the table, Chelsea, Wolves, Southampton and Brentford. Lots of interesting games. Some winnable fixtures in there. Some challenging fixtures in there. Can we hold our ground whilst others are circling? We shall have to wait and see. And that's a bit of a run, isn't it? Later, Man City, Leicester, Liverpool. Tricky stuff still to come. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. Apologies that we couldn't get a decent performance out of the team on this occasion, but hopefully next time out that will change. But that will do it. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That will help me get seen by more people. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.